I can't take this human seriously right now.
Hmm?
What? You look like Wilson from Home Improvement. You're just
That's
going to come
right.
over here, offer some sage advice about life and things that are going on, and then you're just going to walk away.
Well, as we mentioned the other day, in the course of decluttering, I came across this and many other things in my cellar. And then you mentioned that you needed one.
Oh,
And
is
I,
that. See?
yeah, so this is the, right, sorry, this isn't a random Paul behind boxes thing. So there's two boxes there. I just wanted to show you how big these things are.
Wow.
Yeah, they're both identically sized. One of them, I think this one, well, it doesn't matter which one, but this one has the actual headset in it, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then the second box,
Oh,
which
the
again is
nunchucks or
just as
whatever.
big, is yeah, the controllers.
Nunchucks.
So
Whatever.
this particular set came with a computer. It's never been opened. I should probably make sure there isn't wiring somewhere else, actually. Maybe I'll think to do that. But the other issue is, as part of the decluttering we just did, or we're still doing, and we do every day, um, I, I literally broke down and threw out all of the shipping type boxes we had.
Oh, yes, yes.
Mostly out of disgust that I only came up with like two or three that were acceptable for the Microsoft giveaway.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to go to FedEx, or where I went to FedEx, but I could have gone anywhere. I had to go get boxes anyway. And I was like, screw it. Why am I saving this stuff? And honestly,
Yeah.
given the size of these boxes, I don't know. I would have had anything appropriate anyway. So before I send these, I will have to, it's not going to be today, unfortunately, because of the podcast, but the other podcast.
Yeah.
I will go and find the box for the computer and just make sure, because there's like an alien or like a predator nest of cables that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you have to plug it into at least two ports. I think it's like USB and probably some video, like
Probably
HDMI thing or something.
HDMI, yeah.
I just wanted to. I did break these things out. They were sitting over there, and I thought this would be funny just to kind of put on the.
What I thought it actually was is that you got a new computer, and then that was just going to be the view
Oh,
for
the
the next
box.
week and a half. Like it was
Yeah,
just
I got
the
a
back of
tower
the
computer.
HP logo.
Oh no no nope. No, in fact, one thing I found, it just happened to look at. I took pictures of the clutter downstairs because I might write something about this, and sitting right in the front was the box for that laptop. The display I destroyed over Christmas when it dropped on the cement floor.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So I brought that upstairs. I'll break that one down and get rid of it too, because obviously that is useless now.
Yeah, it kind of is. Kind of is. So, Paul, I made a purchase yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I took your advice where you were having so much trouble with hue lights, and I added some more to my house.
Yeah, I was curious where you're going with that because I mean I'll probably do the same thing, but I whatever. I have a problem to figure out. What did you get?
So, this is we remodeled our kitchen 8 years ago, 9 years ago, and we have wiring for under cabinet lighting. I just never installed it. Granted, I want everyone to know we remodeled our kitchen. It's not like I paid someone and they ran the stuff and they never, it's like we remodeled it, we ran the wiring, it's all set up. And then I just never, whatever, the kitchen was fine, we just never put it in. And then I was like, you know what, I can fix this with technology.
Did you get the light strips from Philips Hue
Yeah.
or something else? Okay.
The
So
LED
that's interesting.
ones. And so we have, like, I should probably take a picture of it, but we have like
Yeah.
a gas cooktop burner in the middle. And then there's cabinets on either side of it.
Yep.
And I put the lighting underneath. I need to do some more wiring and clean it up.
Are
and
you? Sorry, I have a lot of questions about this because
Yes.
we ended up not using Philips Hue in our kitchen. We have we removed like I think they're called soffits above the cabinets, so
Yes.
there's space up there now.
Yep.
And we wanted to do above cabinet as well as below cabinet lighting. But when you can't see it, but I mean when you think of, we have we have three distinct areas of cabinets. There's the two that are kind of around the sink, and there's a break because of the sink. There's a thing that does go over our stove and microwave, so we could get wiring through there. And then on the other side of the kitchen, there's just it goes around the refrigerator, whatever. So
Yeah.
it's basically three distinct areas, but five sets of lights because it's top and bottom on the two, and then just top. No, it's top and bottom. Sorry, it's six. And the problem with, like, I thought about doing Philips Hue, but when there's a break, I wasn't sure how to handle that, right? Because you can buy it comes in some length,
Yep.
and if it fits just right, it's great. If it's too long, it's great. You can just cut the ends off.
Yep.
But that thing you cut off the end is now dead, right? It's not. I don't think it's useful
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah. It's not still wiggling like a tail.
Right. Yeah. And you could, I suppose, if it was super long, you could buy two and connect them together, right? You could do that. But so I'm just curious, like, do you have breaks, and do you need multiple strips? Like, how are you doing this?
Yeah, so we have two strips because I ran wiring to both sides of the gas cooktop. So there's power. Well, there's plenty of power, but there's two dedicated lines that run. If I would have done this, I wish I would have known like what I know now, but the line, so there's the cabinets go from, we had soffits as well, but our cabinets go from like, I don't know, 20 inches above the counter all the way to the ceiling. They're really tall cabinets. They're great, but we have no space above the cabinets, which is fine.
Right. No, we don't use the space or anything. It just airs out the room a little.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And so there's maybe 3/4 of an inch drop down below the base of the cabinet, and then there's kind of like recessed up in there, if that makes sense. Like that little recessed area is where the power runs in. So what I'm going to do, and I got to clean all this up, is I'm going to take those wires, I'm going to drill a hole into the bottom of the cabinet, run that up into the cabinet, do all the power and electrical connections in there, because right now it's outside, it's just underneath that. And then they'll run out from there, and then you'll see no wires or anything else like that. But I wish I would have just had those lines go directly into the cabinets initially, rather than now they go in and up, and then they'll go back down. But
so ours was done by an electrician, and it's what you described. The power is inside the cabinet. The cable that it goes from the strips to the power is in the you don't see wires, but it's just white light, right? So they're dimmable, and then we have a dimmer, slider on the switch for those lights. And actually, when we go to bed, we leave one set of the underlights on as kind of like the night light for the kitchen, because they're like LED, they'll last forever. You can just kind of leave them. They're on, like basically on all the time. But I don't know, like color would be kind of fun, I guess. Did you, or does Phil, you must have color, right? Yeah.
They're color, and the kid can scream at the Amazon device and say, turn the cabinets, whatever, and they will turn that color.
Yeah. We have that behind the TV. In fact, that's kind of a cool thing to do, by the way. Although apparently Philips Hue just started selling some, they're not really strips, but they're these kind of oblong shaped things. And I guess you get two of them, you put them behind your TV, and it's supposed to sync up with the video.
Yeah, I've seen that. That's
playing. And I haven't been super impressed by what I've seen so far, but I'm intrigued by this. Like I think I'd kind of like maybe be a little too psychedelic, but I think it'd be kind of cool if you could do that with music. I know there are apps for this, but they're manual though. Like you have to kind of set the beats per minute, and it kind of strobes the lights, It'd be pretty good. Maybe once. I don't know. I'm not sure. I've never done it.
But the nice thing is, and this is one of the reasons why I went down this path, is I now have it set up. So our garage, when you come in through the garage, you come into the kitchen. So now when the garage door goes up, those under cabinet lights will always turn on.
Yeah.
That way you'll never come into a dark house. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah. And so far they're working just fine. Knock on wood. Hopefully I don't have your issues. And
oh, Brad, you have plenty of my issues, but yeah, I still don't know what's going on with ours. Last night we were watching TV, and the lights in the living room didn't change because we kind of now, it's like the Amityville Horror. Like we're looking for the time. It's like, okay, here we go again. Get out, whatever. But nothing happened. I thought, okay, weird. It does sort of feel like something that might pass over time.
Yeah.
Like a kidney stone. But yeah, sorry. But then we went up to go to bed, and the lights in the sunroom had in fact changed to red and green. So I might have to take them all off the system, put them back on, and start from scratch.
Yeah. The only thing I can think of is I ran into this issue with the ones I just put in. Let's see, what was the problem? That HomeKit was assigning things different colors than the Hue app.
Oh, they were interfering.
Yeah, so I would turn them on with the Hue app, and then that would trigger the HomeKit saying like, "Oh, these lights are on. That means the scene is on." So they would turn on They would turn on like a bluish white, and then they'd instantly turn yellow. And so it sounds like you've got a conflict somewhere. It's what
I don't know what it could be though. I don't really. Well, actually, I guess I do have Google Home connected to it.
Could be that. If you've got a scene set up, and Hue lights definitely do work with that. Which is one of the
Yeah,
reasons.
maybe.
It's also one of the reasons why I went with Hughes because, well, I already have a whole bunch of it. But I know that if I ever switch from iOS to Google, it's all going to work on there.
Oh yeah.
Um, just
Well,
becoming more conscious about that.
I mean, they are connected into
Mhm.
some capacity. I don't use that app to control the lights, right?
It,
I
it,
mean,
it doesn't matter if you don't use it. If they're connected, that means it has the ability to change it. So that might be.
okay. Yeah, I'll look at that because I think at some point I was thinking it would be cool. I used the Merry Christmas example. You'd be like, hey,
Mhm.
G, Merry Christmas. And you'd start playing some kind of a playlist through whatever speakers.
Yep.
The lights that could change colors would turn red and green. I guess that would be the extent of it. But anyway, the idea was that those are two different things, but that's one of the things a hub-like app like Google Home or HomeKit or whatever
Mhm.
can do. You can kind of mix and match. That's the benefit of it.
Yep.
We never did it. Maybe. Yeah, I'll look at that.
I was standing in the aisles of Home Depot, and I was looking. I'm still intrigued. I'm trying to find the holy grail of smart switches for
Mhm.
like replacing. I found ones that work with HomeKit. I found some that work with Nest. I found some that work with Amazon. I want one that if Amazon gets out of the game, I'm not tied in. So I was struggling. So I'm reading all these boxes, and there's a guy just walking around. He's like, "Can I help you with anything?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm just trying to find my sanity." I've never seen that guy laugh or anybody laugh so hard in Home Depot, just
Nice.
because there's no reason for this. But it
Sure.
would be nice. It'd be nice if I'm laying my butt on the couch and the lights in the kitchen are on. I don't have to get up to turn them off.
I feel like this stuff is all there. It
Oh,
just
it
needs
is.
to be found, and it needs to be the thing that you're exactly looking for. Like there's a thing for everything, you know.
Yeah.
And there's bulky things you can kind of put plugs on the top of plugs and then plug stuff up
Mhm.
into that. You can put like these external switches on top of your manual switches, and those have never worked for me, but I've
Yeah,
tried them.
and you get picky too because like Lutron makes an
Yeah.
and they're a good brand. They
Yep.
make one,
Yep.
but the problem is it's not just a toggle switch. Like all I need is just the very generic white
Right.
toggle
The
switch. But
rocker switch, but
yes,
a smart version of it.
yeah,
Yes.
and
Yes.
theirs is not. There's like a dim up, a dim down, and it's like
So-
I don't need that. It's
I can't remember anymore, but the other major company in this area is Leviton.
which they have one as well, but theirs only works with HomeKit right now.
That's goofy.
At least
I
the
don't
ones they had
understand
at Home
these
Depot
things.
only worked with HomeKit, which I actually have one upstairs, and I
would
got
look
it.
that up on. Look at their website. Because between Lutron and Leviton, you should be able to figure this out. Because what you're talking about is a literal replacement for a dumb rocker switch, whatever
Yeah.
style you have. Some like I mentioned the dimmable capable. So we have dumb switches, I guess we'll call them.
Yeah.
And there's a little tiny tab on the side you can slide up and down right for the dimmer. Now those are dumb switches, but they make. Well, it's dimmable. It's semi-dumb. I don't know, but it's obviously they make. But I think that you were looking at is a smart version of that, something you control from an app over Wi-Fi,
Right.
etc. Yeah.
So I'm looking at it now. Anyways, this will be an ongoing theme of my sanity and everything else. The thing is, my house isn't all that big, but I feel like it'd be nice.
Well, but this is still so. It's this is the new version of a house that has Ethernet everywhere, right?
Mhm. Oh yeah, you're right.
A lot of modern home construction probably does. That's an option, at least. You can get Ethernet everywhere, but you don't have. There was a very loud bang in my house for some reason. You can go back a lot further in time and think about when they added plumbing or electricity to houses, right? I mean, at first it was these like kind of one-off things, like you don't have electricity, but electricity is happening. You know, like you don't have to have candles or gas lights burning in your house. Thank God. Do you get the whole house? Well, I'm sure a lot of people just were like, okay, look, I want, a light in the kitchen and a light in the bathroom or something, or whatever the choices were. And because those are the places, where we need light, and you kind of prioritize. And then I'm sure there were lots of families in that era who had these old fashioned houses. They probably did really crappy retrofit jobs or didn't at all. And they're watching these newer houses go up with the stuff built in, and they're thinking, "Oh my, that must be nice," And that's exactly where we are. It's the same thing, just repeating.
Yeah, I'm looking at Leviton's website right now, and I see the one that I have with HomeKit, but I don't see one that does HomeKit. And
I can't believe why on earth would they only support this one thing?
I don't know. And maybe they do. If anybody knows of a smart switch that supports all the platforms, I would be very, very interested.
I am confused. There's a smart switch that doesn't.
Yeah.
You know, I would have guessed you'd have trouble finding one that didn't.
Yeah, I actually thought finding one that supported HomeKit might be the issue, but this is like the opposite problem.
That's curious.
So, other things happening, YouTube TV, if this is something you are familiar with or whatever, I believe it's about $35 a month. You can get live TV, any device, anywhere in the country now with local stuff included, I believe.
Yeah, that's the TV service we use. I basically pay $40 a month so I can watch football games. We don't watch a lot of TV now. You know, in fact,
Right.
I was going through the comments on my previous, smart home article and was talking, because I kind of listed out all the stuff, and so there was a question about this, and how do you deal with this? Like we used to watch those House Hunter shows. It was a big deal. Like House Hunters, that channel HGTV is not available on YouTube TV. Like, how do you deal with that? And I didn't mean this to sound smart, but my answer is I deal with it by not watching that show anymore. And that's the truth. And it's like it's a terrible show. It's like you kind of watch it, you kind of hate yourself for watching it. You get mad every time when it ends because it's so terrible. And but the broader point really is not to rag on the show, but rather to say that with the online services we have now, our TV viewing habits have changed incredibly. And so remember in the day, like NBC would advertise like must see TV on Thursday or whatever, and it was like Friends and Seinfeld and whatever was on, Frasier,
Yeah.
And then that kind of went away, and a lot of the must-see TV that we have today are or recently were shows like Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones, The Walking Dead, whatever. But the fundamental shift that's happened even since then, and it's still ongoing, is I don't want to see an episode one week and then an episode the next week, right? In many ways, the best TV shows are so complicated. I can't hold it in my head what happened from week to week. Like God, season to season, like Game of Thrones, you have to pause the thing and look it up. Like, who is this person? And being able to binge watch shows is unbelievable. And so a lot of the shows we watch they all come out on Netflix or whatever service all at once. Or like we recently watched the most recent series of Homeland, which was freaking terrible, but whatever. The point is we were able to watch the whole thing, 2 episodes a night for a week or something, and then we were done. And like that's how we like to. It's like how we like to watch. And so the notion of going back and like having to record something or being able to watch like one episode a week is like, no, we're not doing that anymore. I don't care what the show is. The only thing I really need to ever see live these days is sports.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. So I found on their website. And this is the epitome of smart home trash right here. So they have a smart switch that works with Amazon and Google, and then they have a switch that works with HomeKit. They don't have one that works with all of them.
No.
I know.
That is not
It's yeah.
No.
This company could take a couple $100 for me if they had one product that worked with all of them, but here we are.
The Bose headphones I love are a little bit like that in that they come in a version for Android and everything, and then one for iOS, right? And even when I owned an iPhone, even when I used an iPhone like as my phone, I bought 2 of them. So I bought one, I beat the thing into the ground until it was fraying and falling apart. I used it for years. It's a great device. And then I bought another one, but both times I bought the Android version because it's basically universal compatibility. I suspect that the iOS specific stuff in the iOS version is related to phone calling functionality, probably, which I never do on these headphones. This is only for noise canceling, especially on planes and situations like that. And I hate that there is that kind of divide, and for the same reason you do, which is lack of portability.
Right.
These things stack up for people. And they make it hard for them to leave ecosystems, and this is the exact opposite of what we're looking for. It's a shame. So that sucks. That is really poor on their part.
And that's exactly why I'm doing it, because for a while I used the Amazon one until HomeKit got to the point that the automation was great. Now I'm making sure that everything works on both HomeKit and Amazon, because it'll be over my dead body that I buy a HomePod, which probably means I'm buying one next week. But
yep. So it's funny you say that. I do have $500 in Apple, actually $600 in Apple gift card. I go to the site a lot and I look at it like, is there anything here I need to buy? And the answer is no. But one of the other things that came up in the course of this article I keep talking about is the whole house audio stuff, and I use Chromecast for that. Of course, last week or whenever Google stopped selling Chromecast audio, which is the device I use to connect to really nice studio monitor speakers and, have whole house audio using like a non-Google device or a non-Google Cast compatible speaker. God forbid you want to use your existing speakers. You can mix and match too, right? When Sonos goes Google, which they will, I'll be able to mix and match Sonos with the stuff I have if I want to. Like, I love that. I like that capability. But a lot of people are like, what are you going to do now? They killed Chromecast audio. And I'm like, well, I'm going to still keep using it. It still works.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is like a problem. And I looked at the Apple stuff. I was like, and I'm also, when you really, I know you have to go at 11. I'll try not to drag this out, but
the clock's just ticking.
No, but it's like it's like this never ending, like kind of wormhole of problems, right? I use Google Play Music specifically because of two things. One is it allows me to mix and match my own music that I ripped from CD with their service, which is to me is the ultimate, because I have a lot of music that's not in the service, and you can do it for free. Like, they don't even charge you. I think it's like 50,000 songs. It's incredible. The number of services that offer that capability is dwindling, right?
Yeah.
You can do it locally on Spotify, but meaning on one device, but that's it's not great. Apple does it, but you have to pay for both Apple Music and iTunes Match. It's not onerous, but they do it. But it's Apple, right? And so I actually just looked at it. I was like, so if I do have my music is in Apple. I was like, if I wanted to go to Apple Music, would this even make sense? And the answer is no, because Apple Music doesn't support Chromecast, which is the other thing that I use Google Play Music with, or for. One of the reasons I use it. It works great with the Chromecast stuff. So Here you go. It's just you keep bumping into these walls. It's exactly what you're experiencing right here with the Switch. It's the same problem over and over again.
But this time, well, I shouldn't say this time. Like, I refuse to get locked into an ecosystem like that. HomeKit Switch, when I saw it said HomeKit, I was like, okay, it's got to support all of them. So I got home, got the box, opened it up. It's like, wait a minute, where's the other little logos that works with Nest and all that stuff? And I'm like, all right, I refuse to get locked into it. That's why I'm using Sonos stuff, because I'm hoping that I'll be able to switch to Google. I have hopes and dreams that maybe Siri will be on there, but who knows? So.
Oh, I think that's going to happen, by the way.
I hope so. Well, on Apple's timeline, which means will be 2028 before they realize, hey, maybe this is a good idea.
Well, I mean, this is the year that Apple has started partnering again.
Yeah.
So you never know. Like, they want to get their TV service out to as many sets as possible. It makes sense they'd want to do it for music.
The only way I can see Apple doing this, and this might really be a thing, is if they look at HomePod and be like, that's not going to be
You're not looking at this the right way, actually. Apple doesn't have to do it. Sonos has to do it, right? All they actually have to do is make this thing AirPlay 2 or whatever number they're on now.
Which it already is.
Oh, then then you're fine.
Yeah. Well, I should say the new ones are. If you get a Sonos 1, not a Play 1, but a 1, they are AirPlay 2 capable, and I believe the Beam is as well.
Okay, I was gonna say I think that's the only speaker set, meaning non. The Beam is like what do you call it? Like a soundbar.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's aimed for TVs mostly, but it's weird. Like, the newest version of their smallest and cheapest speaker is the most compatible with stuff. And if you have a 5, or what do they have? 3 and 5, I think. They're kind of like BMWs used to be. 1, 3, 5.
No, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, BMW's off the charts. They're going to run out of numbers, but. Yeah, I mean, I keep expecting them to upgrade their other speakers, and they haven't. But whatever, the little ones sound great.
Yeah, I would recommend them to anybody who is looking for stereo pairs and all that good stuff. So with that, Paul, I do have to run to another meeting. You got anything else for today that's less than 5 minutes in length?
No, just continuing to work on the scanning metadata photo baloney, and that's going to be a nightmare that lasts for probably the rest of my life.
Fantastic. I hope it does too.
Thanks.
All right, folks, so that wraps it up for today. We'll be back tomorrow, Thursday, and then we'll be doing it on Friday and probably the following Monday. So have yourselves a wonderful day, and we'll catch you next time.